In the summer of 2025, the people of Abilene, Texas, were told they could water their lawns just 2 days a week, a drought, reservoirs sitting half empty. Next door, a data center the size of Central Park was drinking water by the tens of millions of gallons to keep the machines that run artificial intelligence from overheating. Same town, same water, one rule for the families, another for the machine. This isn't a story about whether AI is good or bad. It's a story about who pays for it, and who agreed to that, and who didn't. Across America, the same playbook is running on town after town. Drain the water, take the land, run up the power bill, and move on before anyone adds it up. By the end of this, you'll see that the biggest AI project in the country isn't even new. It's sitting right on top of a scam we have watched before. 3 fronts, 1 pattern, and a paper trail. Start with the map, because scale is the whole point. There are now more than 5,000 data centers across the United States, and the build-out isn't slowing, it's accelerating, and the load doesn't fall evenly. Virginia and Texas are the 2 largest by far. A single Virginia county now carries 13% of the world's data center capacity. In Abilene, Texas, Crusoe built Stargate, live in 2026 on a campus the size of Central Park. In Richland Parish, Louisiana, Meta's Hyperion, a $10 billion build. In Lebanon, Indiana, another Meta campus. In Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, Microsoft's Fairwater on the bones of the failed Foxconn plant. In Piketon, Ohio, on federal land, SB Energy is building one of the largest of them all. The empire has an address, several thousand of them, and every single one needs 2 things a town cannot make more of: water and power. Here's the part the press releases lead with, and the part they bury. When Meta broke ground in Lebanon, Indiana, the headline was jobs. More than 4,000 people to build it. That's the number on the banner. Read the next line, about 300 to keep it running. Meta's own announcement says so. 4,000 to build, 300 to stay. A data center is a promise of work that lasts exactly as long as the concrete is wet. Then the trucks leave, the lights stay on, the servers hum to nobody, and the town is left holding everything that comes next, which brings us to the bill. The first bill comes due in water. In Fayette County, Georgia, the county's own water system says a data center run by QTS, a company owned by the investment giant Blackstone, drew around 30 million gallons, 44 Olympic pools. The county says it found 2 water connections to the site. One installed without the utility even knowing, the other not tied to the company's account, and so for months not being billed. When they finally added it up, they sent a retroactive charge of $147,000. The time frame is disputed. The county estimated a few months. The company said longer, and all of this during a state-declared drought, while ordinary residents were asked to cut back on watering their lawns. QTS paid once it was billed and points to construction. The county has since floated a metering error. Read it however you want. The gallons still came out of the same supply the town drinks from. And in Texas, data centers are projected to draw nearly 400 billion gallons a year by the end of the decade. If the water story feels familiar, the small towns, the quiet approvals, that's because it is. Before these buildings ran AI, a lot of them ran something else: Bitcoin. Go back to December 2021. The land that is now the Stargate flagship in Abilene was approved by the city, not as an AI campus, but as a $2.4 billion clean compute campus. Read the city's own release, and the stated use is right there: to host, quote, Bitcoin mining and other energy-intensive applications. The developer, Lancium, described itself as powering, quote, the next generation of cryptocurrency mining. Crypto came first, then a company called Crusoe, which itself started out mining Bitcoin on flared gas. built the AI data center on that ground. Oracle leased it, and it became the first site of Stargate. And it isn't just Abilene. The same companies that mined crypto have pivoted almost overnight into AI. The same warehouses, the same power contracts, the same towns. People in the industry even have a name for it. The Mullet data center, Bitcoin in the back, AI in the front. You've seen this before. Same sites, same towns, new buzzword, and the same families left holding the bill, and that bill is about to get a lot bigger. Here's that bill. The second one comes due in land and in power. To move the electricity these sites need, Georgia Power is building a 35-mile, 500-kilovolt line, the Ashley Park to Wansley corridor, across 4 counties. And to clear its path, the company has moved to take land from more than 300 homeowners by eminent domain. 20 to 30 homes face demolition. Georgia Power is careful to say the line isn't for any single customer. It's for a grid buckling under the state's data center boom, and QTS is one of the data centers already sitting in its path. Either way, the homes come down the same. And the power itself isn't free for the rest of us. A Harvard analysis found something quieter and bigger than any single bill. Utilities are shifting the cost of serving these data centers onto ordinary ratepayers through special contracts the public almost never sees. You can read the result in the bills. Nationwide, average residential electricity prices are up about 42% in 5 years, and far more in the hardest-hit states. Tens of millions of Americans were already struggling to pay that bill before AI asked the grid for more. So that's the cost. Water, land, power, the whole bill. Where did it all go? And the ones sending it? Some of them know exactly what they're doing. Now, in fairness, and this is where it has to get honest, or it isn't worth anything. Oracle, which runs the Abilene site, did some things right. The cooling there is closed loop and non-evaporative. Fill it once, recirculate, don't boil the reservoir away. Its turbines use selective catalytic reduction, cutting smog-forming nitrogen oxides by about 90% versus the dirtiest option. On paper, in the lineup of these projects, it is the clean one. And yet, the site still pulls around 900 megawatts, the power of a mid-sized city. It runs a new on-site gas plant. It sits beside reservoirs left half-empty under a 2-day watering rule in a town now short on housing. As one local put it, our city fathers didn't think that AI sent her through. Sit with that. When the cleanest version of a thing still does all of this, the problem was never one bad operator. It's the model, which is exactly why the next one matters. Which brings us to the version that didn't even pretend. Just over the Tennessee line, in South Haven, Mississippi, Elon Musk's company, xAI, built the second phase of its Colossus supercomputer. To power it fast, the company installed 27 methane gas turbines, around 495 megawatts of them. And according to a federal lawsuit, it did this without the permits the law requires. The complaint was filed in April 2026. The NAACP versus X.AI Corp. In the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Mississippi. It is on the public record. You can read it. In paragraph 158, the complaint estimates those turbines emit on the order of 1,700 tons of nitrogen oxides a year and roughly 19 tons of formaldehyde, a carcinogen, into neighborhoods that are predominantly black. I am reading from the filed complaint. xAI will get to answer in court, and a court, not me, decides what it means. But here is the line on the public record through a United States Senate committee that turns a one-time problem into a plan. An xAI manager, Brent Mayo, was described as saying the company intended to, and I'll read it exactly as it was published, brackets and all, copy and paste what it did at the Colossus 1 site. The first site, according to the record, wasn't a mistake to be fixed. It was the template to repeat. Here's the turn, because the towns are not just absorbing this. They're fighting it the way one woman made famous a generation ago. Knocking on doors, reading the filings, dragging the polluter into court, across the country, residents, and this is the part that matters, red towns and blue towns, the same fight. They're packing county commission meetings, they're filing suit, they're winning delays. The data centers are enormous, and the companies behind them are some of the richest on Earth. But a water bill is not partisan, and a subpoena doesn't care how big your market cap is. The empire is fast, but it is not, it turns out, unopposed. So when a data center comes to your town wrapped in a jobs announcement, you don't have to take it on faith and you don't have to panic. You can check. Hey, job. 1. Ask who pays for the water and the power and whether your utility is quietly asking everyone's rates to rise to cover it. 2. Read the eminent domain and the permit filings. They're public. They say what the press release won't. 3. Ask how many of those jobs last past the construction. 4,000 to build, 300 to stay. Bye. The announcement is a claim. After everything you've just seen, treat it like one. Here's a prediction I'll date, so you can hold me to it. By the end of 2027, the fight over data centers stops being a tech story and becomes a ballot box one. A local politics issue, decided in county elections and zoning fights, and at least one major project gets canceled or relocated, not by the market, but by organized residents who said no. The build-out doesn't stop, but the towns stop saying yes by default. Confidence, 70%. If the data centers keep winning every vote, I'll come back and show you the miss. That's the deal. The AI empire is being built by draining the towns it is built in, the water, the land, the power bill, paid by specific families who never agreed to it for machines they will never use. So the next time someone tells you it's the future, ask them one simple question. Whose well is it coming out of? For the record.